Hey goobs, it's me Jiv, aka the person recommended for some apparent reasons. So, in today's video we are actually going to do something quite unique. This is actually going to be a reaction on my thoughts on the whole new, is it like Kero the Wolf documentary thing by ADC or something. I've probably said the program wrong, but you know, you obviously know what I mean. So if I'm going to be honest, I'm actually going to leave my thoughts here and then do the reaction after, if that makes any sense, because I actually want to pretty much make this video, you know, quick as possible, I guess you could say, but also try and make it pretty, you know, not too short, if that makes any sense, because I do think this is quite an interesting topic, and I've actually seen furries, from what I've seen anyway, most furries disliking it, so I actually want to see what is the whole dislike and hate about. Now, I don't think many furries hate it, because I haven't really watched any of the videos. I just see that angry furry persona on the thumbnail, so that clearly means it's bad for some reason. Like I said, I'm going in this completely blind, as you can tell, because I have no idea what the whole fuzz is about, and that's also why I want to make this. I also want to thank Motang the Sea Lion for doing this, because honestly they're the one that brought up the idea, and I was like, holy shit, this is an actual thing. People are making a documentary about one of the most known zoophiles in the furry fandom. If you don't know what a zoophile is pretty much someone who P. Diddy's animals. Disgusting individuals. I don't fucking like them. Which is also something that many people also don't like either. You know, like most normal people don't like. Pretty much, that's just that. And also, Kero the Wolf, I think, has done many other weird acts, which, you know, has led him to this massive documentary. But, however, though, I don't know much about Kero the Wolf. The only thing that I know is that he's a zoophile and he's doing really weird things and doing really illegal actions. That's what I know from the guy. That's it, literally. And also, I do also want to add that this is a trailer. I think most people already know this is like a trailer thing, but like, I just want to let you know that this is obviously a trailer. The documentary is not going to be released yet until like sometime in July. And if I'm going to be honest, will I review the entire thing? Probably not, because if I'm going to be honest, I probably don't have the time. But maybe I might. Maybe I might. If the content is really good inside this documentary, then I actually might do a reaction. Heck, I might even live stream the reaction. Shit, may as well. But, like I said, most likely not, because if I'm going to be honest, I'm not really too fussed about this, but I kind of am at the same time, because I want to know what the whole fuss is about, you know, with the whole thing, because a load of furries have made a video about it. I'm kind of late to this trend. I just want to know what's what. Okay, so I think it's time we do the reaction now, because honestly I have nothing else to say, so let's just get into this reaction. Okay, so this is going to sound pretty shit, but I need to quickly explain myself, is that I have already watched this, sadly, but I will watch it again because I need to rewatch it anyway, because if I'm honest, I need to understand the context of things. But technical difficulties happened with my VTuber model, and wait, not VTuber, my PNG model. What the fuck am I on about? Yeah, my PNG model just stopped working, and then the audio instantly cut out when I tried to make this. So let's hope it doesn't happen again, because I swear to fuck if I have to do this for the third time, bro. Anyway, so technically, It's AMC, not ADC as well, so my apologies.
When you have evidence of some serious crime happening.
Yeah, actually, I did want to watch through this again, because I didn't realise, I kind of like zoned out when I first watched this. FBI, that's... I thought this guy didn't do that much. If I'm going to be honest, I did not think Kero the Wolf did that much. Like FBI's involved in shit, which is fucking mad.
You know, either you're going to do something about it, or you're part of the problem.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Involved in this story are
Furries.
Furries. Yes. Furries.
What is a furry? Someone who enjoys anthropomorphic creatures.
You know, that is also a good description of what a furry is as well. So, you know, they've got that right going for them. Hey.
Fun and loving and diverse.
Yeah, okay.
You will be accepted.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Identify as a pineapple.
Oh yeah.
Most furries are people who would never harm animals.
Yes.
One day, I got a call. We have
Hopefully.
a problem in the community.
There were these postings of videos and pictures with living and deceased animals.
Yes. It's like the police are involved in shit, and I'm not gonna lie, this is probably gonna sound pretty awful, but like I didn't know how bad Kero the Wolf is until I started seeing like the FBI and police shit. I was like, whoa. Like, what the fuck?
So twisted,
and they are hiding in plain sight.
that is true as well. Like, honestly, like you don't understand how scary it is, like social media and shit, until you like go into stuff like the furry fandom and you realize that there's like groomed PDF files and stuff. You know, I'm not saying it's just the furry fandom that has this issue. It's everywhere online. Honestly, it is. But like the fact that it is scary, because these fuckers do hide in plain sight, and you don't realize it until you either become a victim or you hear about it. You know what I mean? It's fucking scary.
It's time that the furry fandom take a stand.
Yeah. Okay, right, okay.
We nicknamed ourselves the Furvengers.
I'm sorry. Okay. When I watched this the first time, I could not stop laughing at that fucking name, the furry, the Fur Avengers. I'm sorry, but that shit is quite corny. But yeah, I actually wanted to stop this here because it seems like I was correct with what I was saying in the first take, that furries have took a stance and wanted to participate in finding Kero the Wolf or something like that, or like take a stance against Kero or whatever. I don't fucking know. Something like that.
Let's
Which
get
is
these guys.
yeah, okay, right. Okay, right. So this documentary is actually kind of showing that you know those people are trying to find Kero the Wolf or something. I don't really know, if I'm going to be honest. I'm just going to assume that, but like pretty much it's obvious that these guys or this group of furries wanted to try and sort Kero the Wolf out, which, if I'm going to be honest, really paints the furry community in a really good light. I don't see where the negativity comes from, if I'm going to be completely honest. Also, I'm going to turn the autoplay off. But yeah, I actually don't see the issue. I generally don't see the issue with this. If anything, this looks really good.
If you want to try to prove that I'm guilty, go ahead, because there's nothing there.
Oh, wait, hold on. Was that Kero the Wolf talking then? Like, Jesus Christ. He actually sounds like a Reddit mod, if that is the case. Fucking hell. And if that is a random guy, I am so fucking sorry.
Been lying this whole time.
This was a global operation.
I don't think a global operation is the right word. I think that's been a bit too fucking dramatic. I mean, if anything, though, I do think this is a bit dramatic, though. I won't lie. Like, obviously, it's a trailer, obviously, but like, I think they're being a bit way too dramatic with it. That's my only problem with this. Is like, you know, it's a bit too dramatic. But if anything, though, it is a documentary about one of our most disgusting members in this community, and honestly, I fucking vouch for this. If anything, I really promote this. Like he isn't in our community anymore. Obviously, we don't accept Kero and the Wolf in our community, but like, honestly, he was a member, so technically, you know.
I had just kicked a wasp's nest.
You felt like you were kind of opening Pandora's box and you didn't know what was going to shake out.
Okay. That kind of feels like more furries were involved in this sort of like actions and shit. I think I'm tweaking or something, because I don't know, I'm probably like tweaking out or something. Like, if anything though, I'm actually kind of pumped for this. Like this is, I don't think this is going to do any harm to our community. If anything, this is actually doing really positive for our community. I know I'm probably, you know, there's probably like something like, I don't know, say like posts on Twitter or something that clearly might not be, you know, I don't know, like say it might be something else in this documentary that might paint furries in a bad light. But if anything, though, I don't think it is, because I feel like that was like the main concern with this documentary, is that, oh no, it's going to paint furries in a bad light. If anything, they've pretty much brought up a furry group, taking a stance against this. I think if anything, they have actually done something a bit more nicer than other documentaries. Because, no, not gonna lie, and I don't mean any ill will to anybody who makes documentaries on YouTube, but from what I've seen, no one really talks about, like, I don't know, and probably because they don't exist, but like groups who actually took a stance against these disgusting furries, and, you know, like, not furries, but like disgusting zoophiles, I guess you could say, and taking a stance against these fuckers and stuff. I feel like that's what this whole like fucking furry Avenger thing were about. I'm sure of it. And if that is the case, then that is fucking amazing. But I have probably misinterpreted this, and I probably will know if I get a load of dislikes or not. Because if I'm honest, I don't see anything wrong with this trailer. If anything, I think this is going to be a really good stance. Because I do feel like showing off some terrible members, sure, it might damage our community a little bit, but like, it's only, well, by the looks of it, only like one guy, and I don't think they're gonna make a bad documentary about furries. I think if anything, this is gonna be more about Kero the Wolf. Like the furry fandom will obviously be you know, like a center point in this documentary, obviously, but I don't think they're going to paint the fandom in a bad light or anything negative, which is something that, as a furry, I actually do get quite scared about in these documentaries and stuff like that, because this, like I said, I don't mean any ill will, but I feel like some documentaries on YouTube, when they talk about people like Kero the Wolf, they kind of try and paint it in a bad light for furries, and sometimes it's completely valid, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that every single time people paint furries in a bad light it's bad, because sometimes I do say this, sometimes we need the criticism. That's what I think. Like, if I'm not gonna lie, I actually kind of like this documentary. I mean, if anything, I could have a look at, like, a furry's video about this and see what the problem is, and then, like, come, like I don't know, like, talk about it for the rest of the video. You know what, fuck it, I am actually going to do that real quick. So, yeah, I'll speak to you guys, I don't know, after this shit, I don't fucking know. Okay, so I've just looked at, well, only one furry's video, and I'm not gonna lie, it doesn't seem like it's more of an uproar and anger about this documentary. If anything, it's more about concern, which obviously I should have thought about that first. And the more concern thing, and I'm not saying from this is my opinion, I'm just saying this from, like, what the majority do think in our community, and I think the majority do think that this could ruin our reputation because it's talking about a bad furry, and this is going to be probably one of the first times where normal or normies have been exposed to our community, and it's going to be about a documentary about a pretty disgusting furry. Now, I actually can see what people are saying about this, honestly, I completely do. I think this is actually quite a valid take about it, but if I'm going to be honest, with like the whole furry Avengers thing, yeah, I'm not going to lie, I don't think they're going to paint the furry fandom in a really bad light. If anything, I'm pretty sure people are going to have more of a positive review if people, you know, like furries are taking a stance against this. I don't think this is going to be like any, I guess you could say, like, you know, like anti-furry stuff. If anything, I think this will be quite a positive documentary, which honestly I'm actually quite excited for by the looks of things. I don't think I don't think the furry community is really upset about this. I think the furry community is just more or less concerned, which honestly I do have valid criticism, well not valid criticism, but I do think it's quite valid to have that concern, because like I said, it's talking about our community. And I will say this, our community doesn't have the best reputation on the internet or in real life. So, you know, obviously we're going to be like a nervous wreck when it comes down to talking about furries, and also making furries pretty much mainstream. Which, like I said, I can understand, but however though, I don't think it's something to be really scared about, because if anything, this is going to be talking about furries that have clearly done bad stuff, and furries clearly don't agree with that, so I don't think that's going to be anything bad. And they also do explain what a furry is. It's just someone who's interested in anthropomorphic animals, not in, not like zoophile sort of stuff, which honestly is kind of great to see, because I won't lie, I do feel like the zoophile equals furry equals zoophile stuff. You know, like people think, or most furries are zoophiles and stuff. Like that claim is so dead. And it's been overused, so I am glad that they're not, going back to the old roots of that. They're kind of making a fair documentary, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, as a furry, I would actually say give it a watch. But I'm not saying that this documentary is going to be fully 100% brilliant documentary. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that I don't think it's going to be, what's the word? Pretty much nitpicking and being a dick to furries. I don't think it's going to be like an anti-furry sort of documentary. I think it's actually going to be quite a fair, valid documentary. If anything, I would say give it a watch, because it hasn't been released, so you can't really have a big opinion about it. I'm not trying to have massive opinions, I'm just saying from what the trailer said and what people have said, and in my opinion, I just think it'll probably be a good watch, because by the looks of things, it seems to be quite a neutral documentary, which is something that, no offense, I am so glad there is, because I don't think there's many out there that are neutral. I mean, sure, some people, well, most documentarists online probably are neutral, but, like, I just don't feel like they're neutral, if that makes any sense, which is fair dues obviously, because us humans obviously do have our opinions and we do want to express those. I don't think every documentary YouTuber is obviously someone who's got an opinion, because I do think there's a big majority that obviously are trying to be neutral as possible, But I think it's better if it's something like a TV program or something like that, because, you know, it's more mainstream and it's obviously got moderated and stuff like that, if that makes any sense. So pretty much it's like more of a secure source if it's neutral. So yeah, that's what I think personally. And also, there's nothing really much to say, so I'm going to end the video here. I do hope you enjoyed this. This is kind of pushing out of my league of what I normally make for YouTube content. I mostly just talk about furry topics. This is technically a furry topic, but it's kind of like furry drama, if that makes any sense. But like I said, I'm not pushing to make this, you know, like furry drama. Like, I just want to just talk about it and make a small review of the trailer because I think it's quite cool and quite interesting. So like I said, I just want to say thank you to Motang the Sea Lion. Hopefully I did say the name right. And yeah, thank you for suggesting this idea and making this video come to life. Anyway, goodbye.